Hey friends, and welcome back to Chatterday. So this week I want to talk about a city on the west coast of Florida, whose name I'm going to butcher. Dunedin. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that. I meant to ask someone while I was there and I forgot. It is on the west coast. We went last 2 weeks ago and we stayed for a couple of days. So I'm going to talk about everything that I experienced while I was there. I'm going to start with the hotel, and then I am going to discuss like restaurants and places around town that we went to. And then at the end, I am going to discuss the traffic and how the travel was, because I had a different travel experience than the whole rest of my family, and I had a different travel experience on the way there than I did on the way home. So I'm going to start with the hotel. I am also probably going to be using my phone a little bit because it was 2 weeks ago and I don't remember the name of everything off the top of my head, and I don't want to like mess things up for, the businesses that I do appreciate and I want to give shout outs to. So I am going to be looking at my phone a little bit. First of all, Best Western Harbor Yacht in, see, I'm already doing it. But it was the best Western that I've been to. It was, let me get my map up. The Best Western plus Yacht Harbor Inn. So that was in Dunedin. It was on the water, but you couldn't go into the water from there. They did have a public fishing pier nearby that you could fish from, but they asked that you didn't fish off of your balcony. I'm going to have throughout this next week, I'm going to be posting the videos that I made from my trip. So that's why I wanted to talk about this today. And then next week, when you see I'm posting all these videos from the West Coast instead of my normal stuff, you'll know why. So the hotel was really, really cool, where we were on the first floor and you walked into your room and then there was a back door to like almost like a boardwalk, catwalk area. And that was really cool. And you could all like hang out back there. Like we hung out, my whole family would hang out in the back there so I could keep my door open, and then like have my son could be like in the room resting, playing whatever he was doing, running in and out while the adults were hanging out. And it was really, really convenient. They did ask that you didn't fish off of there, which makes sense because you're literally in the back of everyone else's hotel rooms. It was all very connected. You'll see in the shorts if you watch them. But it was really nice. It wasn't expensive. Taxes, totals, all said and done. Taxes, fees, all said and done. I think it was right around 200. The room itself was like 180. And then again, with everything else, it was right around 200. When I was looking up now in Google Maps, it's saying that tonight's 130. So like, honestly, that's not bad. The rooms had a mini fridge. There was a microwave. You guys know I spend a lot of time at the All-Star Resorts in Disney, so a microwave was nice for me. There was a restaurant on site that was called Bon Appetit. It was a slightly more upscale seafood restaurant. My dad got the whole seafood tower thing. I'll have that in some videos as well. And then right in the parking lot, there was another restaurant that was really nice, and we would have gone, but I was looking for some French fries because I have a 6-year-old. And that restaurant was called the Old Bay Cafe. So it was really cute, and they had a lot of like fresh seafood because you were there on the water. And they had a sister cafe. I went in there and I was like, hey, can we get some fries? And they're like, no, but they had a sister restaurant that's around the corner. And that one was called the Hogs. And you know what? Hog Island Fish Camp Seafood Restaurant and Bar. Everything there was fried. And they had like some fried green tomatoes that I really wanted to get, but we ended up not staying. So we did get some French fries and we took them to go so we could walk around and like check things out and get coffees. And the French fries were really good. It tasted like they took a potato and, you know what I mean? So they were really, really good. Skin on and everything. So good. But anyway, back to the hotel. So the hotel was really cool. It was nice. There was a pool right by the hotel. It seemed like on the same property there was a playground. I'm going to have a video of that too. And that was Edgewater Park playground. It also had this really cool like military tribute thing for like the armed forces, and it had like all the states in it. And then also we have to keep in mind, maybe not forgot, but wasn't thinking about how hard they had gotten hit with hurricanes the last 2 years. There was still a good bit of parking lot that was ripped up from underneath. And so that was all roped off with fencing. I have some video of that too I'll be posting. And that was all right there. There was a pool. There was a fishing pier. I think you'd have to go over a causeway to go into a beach. We didn't do that. We were there visiting with family, and we were only there. My son and I only stayed one night. They stayed another night, so I think they went over like into Clearwater and went to like a causeway and a boardwalk. But I honestly parked my car when I got there, and then we just walked. It was all very, very walkable. So that's really nice, especially with a young kid being in a town you don't know. It's so much easier when you can just walk everywhere and you don't have to drive. It was really, really nice. Again, West Coast, beautiful sunsets. I have beautiful sunset videos from the back of my room. Gorgeous. I really appreciated how big the room was. The layout was very spacious. It was 2 queen beds I got, but it was ton of room, wet bar, giant mirror, lots of natural lighting. There was a little hallway with a pretty big closet leading into a bathroom. And again, you could go right out your door, and then you have the beautiful water right behind you. It was like a harbor, right? Harbor Yacht Club Inn, or Harbor Yacht, right? Yacht Harbor Inn. You know what I mean? What did I just say? Plus Yacht Harbor Inn. Yeah. So the restaurants there were good. Everything at the hotel was really nice. So then we walked down the street. Like I said, we went to that Hog Island. Let me get my little screenshots up that I just took. So that the Hog Island Fish Camp was really cool, and that was right around the corner. There's also a lot of breweries and a distillery right around there. I don't drink. I think I mentioned before that I'm not a big drinker. I did in the past, but I do not now. But my family drinks, so we went to the brewery, and it was family friendly. There were other kids there for my son to play with. We didn't stay long because he's not used to that, because we don't hang out in those places normally. But it was fun for him to play for a couple minutes with some kids, and everybody got some drinks. They got some merch, and then they went on to another brewery, and we walked. There's the Pinellas Trail there that goes through multiple counties. I believe it used to be a railroad track, and they paved it, and you can walk it. It was beautiful. My son and I walked pretty far up and down that while everyone else was enjoying the breweries. We met back up with them. We saw this cool like heart lock thing. I have some pictures and videos of that. There were people like, you know, it was one of those like love things. You love people, you write your name, you put your lock on. It was cute. And so we walked around quite a bit there. We went to a couple breweries. I have some little videos of those that I'll be posting. And then we also went to a couple of coffee places. So there was this really cool Lane's iced tea, I believe it was called. Lane's lemonade. I'm sorry. Lane's lemonade. And it was like an old caboose from a train, it looked like. But they had like coffees and smoothies, and they had like a protein coffee smoothie situation. They had lemonades. They had like ice creams. They had some really, really cool stuff. The owner was there. He was sitting outside, and we talked to him a little bit. He was very nice. He said that his coffee was better than Starbucks. I don't drink Starbucks, so I don't really know, but it seemed like, I mean, it was good. I got like a latte, and it was pretty good. There was another coffee place, though, sorry to that guy, that I did like better. I liked the Dunedin Coffee Company and Bakery. I got a really, really good coffee there that honestly was just mind-blowing. It was fantastic. That one was definitely better than Starbucks. Again, I don't hang out at Starbucks a lot, but I know that coffee was better. It was so good. And my brother and his girlfriend, I believe they got like some kind of snack there, but they both got coffees too. The three of us walked over there one morning while my stepmom was watching my son, and it was really, really nice. And that was cool too. Back to the hotel. Sorry, I'm jumping. Because we had that back door like that where we could all kind of hang out. You'll see in the video. I was able to get her. She likes to just sit in the sun a little bit and soak in the vitamin D. So she could do that out back of my room, so he could still stay in his room and kind of be playing, and she could keep the door open and keep an eye on him while I could go and hang out with my family. It was really nice the way that it was set up. It really gave him some independence so that we could still do our adult stuff, and he didn't feel like he had to be there, but we could still keep an eye on him. I really, really liked the hotel, honestly. And then, okay, so I liked Dunedin Coffee Company. So we did go and we got a pizza at this Tony's Pizza. It says real New York style pizza, but if you have been to New York or New Jersey and Florida, you know that a lot of times when people say that, that's not true. I would say that it's not true at Tony's Pizza. It wasn't bad, don't get me wrong. It was, for Florida pizza, it was decent, but it was certainly no Estella's. You know what I mean? If you live in Port St. Lucie, you know what I mean. Estella's is the best pizza in Port St. Lucie, in my opinion. This Tony's Pizza did not come anywhere near close, but it was decent. The price wasn't bad. It was open until like 11 p.m. So, sometimes in them small beach towns, that's pretty late, and like that is a great situation. Everyone had gone out drinking. They had been like around the breweries and the distillery. So it was nice at the end of the night. My sister and I went over. We got a couple pizzas. We ended up finding everyone there because it was walkable. We had lost my sister's husband, and my dad and my stepmom had gone off to the distillery while the rest of us were kind of chilling out at the hotel, and we just kind of lost track of them. And while we were at the pizza place, I was outside talking to my partner on the phone because he didn't come with us. And here they come walking down the street. So it was cute. We found everybody at the pizza place. We all walked back together. Ta-da. So the pizza wasn't fantastic, but like the vibe was good. And again, we could walk there. That's so nice to be able to walk there. The whole town was really cute. The breweries were cute. Again, I don't drink, so I can't speak to the taste of it. The coffees were good. We went to a breakfast place, the Sandpiper Cafe, and honestly, I was not a huge fan of the food that I got. I believe some other people at my table liked their food a little bit better. It was, I don't know. There was also a bit of a weird vibe with some of the staff. So, like, I have that before. And my sister and her husband are both in the service industry, or hospitality industry at least. She's service, he's hospitality. And then my little brother also started as a busboy. He works for my dad's plumbing company now. But my siblings and I have all worked in the service industry. My brother's girlfriend is a bartender. My sister is a bartender. I was a bartender. So I say that to say that we're not people that go and complain about wait staff normally, and we're not people that are like snapping our fingers and touching servers. I would never touch a server. Don't grab a server's arm when they're walking past you. That is one of the most obnoxious things. Don't touch people you don't know. You know what I mean? So we don't do any of those things. We're pretty pleasant. We know how to order. We know what we want. We know how to be polite about it. And it really seemed like, I think all the service that we had, they just seemed annoyed. And I don't know. I feel like we get a lot of that over here too. You guys know that I'm in Port St. Lucie, and we have experienced tremendous growth in the last few years. And it was kind of seemed like it was an attitude that we get here too, where like the locals are so not sick of, but just a little stressed out, maybe a little annoyed with the quick growth, right? Like growth is good for the economy. It's good. But sometimes when it happens so quickly, like it has over here, it becomes annoying because we don't have the infrastructure built out, right? So like we're not ready for all these people, and all of a sudden all of our resources are stretched thin and we're all kind of on edge. And that's how it felt there. It felt like a lot of the servers seemed like annoyed almost. Like just that we were there. And again, we're not typically super annoying. I've been told that my voice is annoying, but like I'm pretty polite. So that was weird. And like it wasn't really a deterrent, and no one was super terrible, but like even at that coffee shop, we walked in and there were some paramedics. The place was dead except for these paramedics, and they were just kind of standing in the walkway having a personal conversation, and we were like, excuse me, and they just did not move, and we had to like go walk around them and like through some random tables, which isn't a big deal, but it's like it's just odd. Like I would never stand in the walkway of someone's business and then when customers come in just give them a dirty look when they say excuse me. You know what I mean? It was just odd. And it was kind of like that with the people behind the bar too. The owner was there and he was very friendly, coming out and saying hi to everybody, but the person that took my order was polite, but the person that handed me my coffee seemed really annoyed that we were there. And it's just, I know everybody has bad days, so I normally wouldn't have even commented on it if it was one person, but it seemed to be at every place we went, at least one or two of the workers seemed annoyed. Not all of them at every place, but at least one or two. And honestly, at the Sandpiper place, it was all of them. The owner was kind of nice when we walked in, but then like made a really snide comment to my brother when he was in the store afterwards, and it was just uncalled for and kind of unnecessary. My brother is covered in tattoos, and was thinking that people were like thinking that he was some kind of tough guy, tattoo guy. I don't think that that's really a thing in this day and age. I mean, I think we all have tattoos and no one's really looking at you sideways because of it. But I think he just couldn't think of why else, because he's very, yes, ma'am, no, sir. You know what I mean? We're polite. As long as like it's obvious, we're not trying to misgender people, but we're pretty polite. So anyway, that was odd, but it was nice. Overall, the town was really nice. Again, I'll say it for the 100th time. The hotel, I really liked. I will be posting videos all throughout the week about all of these places. I don't know that I have full videos on every single place. It might be more of like, there will definitely be a room tour video, a hotel video, and then there's a playground video. I have a video coming about showing some of the hurricane damage that's still there. And then it might just be an around town video for the last one, because like I didn't get multiple videos at Tony's. I don't think I got any videos at the Sandpiper Cafe because we were just not really feeling it. And then I almost feel bad, you know. It's like I didn't want to make a video about a place that I hated, but here I am talking kind of trash. So sorry, Sandpiper, if you hear this, but that omelet was way overcooked and the bacon was way undercooked. Okay, so it was a BMT omelet, right? So I was super excited because like bacon, mushroom, tomato, what? That sounds great. But it was almost like the bacon was like raw, almost like very like undercooked and soft, and like my egg was so hard cooked, which I get an omelet has to be, but it was almost like a sponge. So, and the potatoes just tasted like some were good and some were terrible. So it was almost like instead of using up the last of the potatoes, you mix the new ones in with it. So then everyone was getting half and half. Like my sister felt the same way. Some of hers were good, some of them weren't. So I don't know. It was a little odd to me how that was, but to each their own, right? I don't run that cafe. If I did, it would have been different. Anyway. Sorry, excuse me. Okay, the traffic. The drive over. So I'm on the West Coast. I mean, I'm on the East Coast. We're going to the West Coast. My GPS told me it would take me 3.5 hours to get there. And it did. I left my house at 8 a.m. I was there by 11:30. Not a big deal. I didn't hit any crazy traffic. On 60 at some point I got, stuck behind a tractor, but that's very normal in the middle of the state. Tractor traffic is fine. When I got in through Tampa, the traffic was really heavy in Tampa, which again makes sense, big city. I got through it pretty quickly. There's a lot of construction on the highway, so you really have to pay attention to your GPS. At one point it was like, take this left exit. But because I'm 40 years old, I look at the names and the exit numbers as well, and I realized that it wasn't that one, but it was like an eighth of a mile the next one. It was very close. So if you're not paying attention to your maps, you could have. My brother got lost on that saying he took the wrong cutoff, and it ended up looping him around, and it added like an hour to his travel time because he got stuck in some crazy traffic. For me, that did not happen. I got over there super easy, got on the causeway. It was kind of busy, but like no slowdowns, nothing insane. I had a really smooth, easy drive over. My brother did not have that experience. Like I said, he got lost, and then he also ended up, there was an accident on the causeway. It took him over 5 hours to get there. My dad also left later in the afternoon, and then my brother had left in the evening, and it took him forever to get there. My dad left later in the afternoon on his way over, also ran into some pretty heavy traffic. It took him like 4 hours. On the way back, I left at 1 p.m. and then that happened to me. It wasn't terrible. I didn't get lost. I didn't have any missed exits, but like the traffic was definitely worse. It wasn't terrible, but it was way worse than it was on the way over. So I think it seems like to me that the move with driving across the state like that is going to be leaving earlier in the day. I don't like to do 60 at night. 60 is the road that we take across the state here. Well, for where we are in the middle. And it's a 2-lane road most of the way with some passing lanes, but you have a lot of wildlife. So I don't like to drive over there at night because I am terrified that like a hog's going to run out and then I'm going to flip over a hog because I'm doing 60 in the middle of the woods. You know what I mean? So I do like to go early in the morning, and it seemed like that was the move. That definitely, I got less traffic than everyone else, so I think that that was the right move. I also think that I went a different way than them because they were talking about a traffic circle on the causeway. So when I looked at my map, you get your choices on Google Map. So I didn't take the roads that had no tolls, but I didn't take the roads that had the most tolls either because it was a very similar ETA with the one that had, it was like $5 in tolls, $10 in tolls, $0. So I took the $5 in toll lane route, and that seemed to work out for me because I think I came a different way than them because there was no traffic circle when I was on a causeway. I just went through some red lights and everything was fine. So I do think that I had a much smoother drive, maybe because of the route I took, but certainly because of the time of day that I went. I didn't really stop anywhere in the middle. So my drive wasn't as bad as it could have been. I do think that's because of the time that I went, but overall it was a really nice trip. Now that my son's getting older, I would like to do some more of these trips across the state and to other places. Florida is such a huge state, and I don't think I've seen half of it. If there's anywhere else that you've been or that you've been wondering about or trying to go, please let me know in the comments, because again, I'd like to check some more stuff out. My friend went over to Naples to the Great Wolf Lodge at the same time. I haven't talked to her since. I mean, just through text. We haven't seen each other in person, so I'm curious to know how that went. If you've been there, let me know too, because I'm definitely interested in going there at some point. But yeah, so next week I will be posting a lot of videos from this trip. You may notice that it won't be my normal Disney content. That will be coming back the week after, but I do want to make sure that I post these videos and get them out there because it was a really good time, and I would like to show everyone what it was like over there if you're not familiar. I know a lot of people haven't been over there in a while because of the storms, and there was so much storm cleanup that they had to do, and they're still doing. But they are open for business, and I'm sure, as much as some of the servers may seem annoyed, I'm sure that the town itself could use the money. Because that's hard. We had it over here, what, almost 20 years ago, where we were closed for a good half a year. It's pretty tough to recover from that. So if you're thinking of visiting Dunedin, I would highly recommend it, and definitely check out the Best Western Harbor Yacht. Now I gotta look it up because I don't want to say it wrong. The Best Western Plus Harbor Yacht Inn. And thank you. I hope you guys have a great week. Have a great rest of your weekend. Happy Mother's Day tomorrow to all the mothers out there. And yeah, have a great day. Thank you.